People describe our work a couple different ways. I would say layered. There's a recent client that I loved. She said, your work has weight to it. That was like the coolest thing. There's depth. It feels like people live there. It feels like where somewhere would want to live. This is our 20th anniversary. Kitchen Lab was our first business. It morphed into Kitchen Lab Interiors in 2006 when we did our first whole house in Highland Park. The other thing that was a big influence is while I was in college at the Art Institute of Chicago, School of the Art Institute of Chicago, my husband, now husband, then boyfriend, was gutting a 1890s brownstone in Wicker Park. And I walked in while it was gutted and I saw all the plaster and lath and all of the, the bare bones and the joists and all these like 100-year-old wood beams and whatever. And I was like, this is what I want to do. My name's Rebekah Zaveloff, and we're based in Chicago. The name of our firm is Imparfait Design Studio. We also own another firm called Kitchen Lab Interiors. We're based in Chicago, but we work in Michigan, California, and Miami. This client came to us after having called a couple times looking at multiple houses and condos. They were downsizing. They lived nearby here. They looked at condos, they looked at some houses, and every time they started looking, it was usually she wanted something small and the husband wanted a little bit more room. So it was a real challenge to find exactly what they wanted. They were doing this so that they could buy a place in Palm Springs or Palm Desert, and that was absolutely the directive from day one. So clearly they have a thing for mid-century modern because of going out to Palm Springs. And to find a house like this in Winnetka is insane. Like, you don't find houses like this in the North Shore of Chicago very often. They just don't exist. There's some newer modern ones, but certainly not of this era. It had an incredible art collection, but to say it was dated is an understatement. I mean, it literally had not been touched. The siding was in not great shape. There were some really weird elements to it, but mostly one of the biggest challenges was the layout of this room that we're in right now, because it's very asymmetrical, and when we do the tour, you'll get to see that more. But it's the fireplace is off center, the rooms are small, and how to make it feel like it's living big. I cannot tell you how much I love this home. Like, I just think that it's one of the coolest houses that I've ever been in. I've never been in a house like it. I've been in lots of mid-century modern houses. We almost put a third floor on it. We analyzed trying to figure out whether or not they needed more space because the bedrooms are not huge. We really encourage the homeowners to just embrace that for the one time a year that maybe all their kids come home. They're gonna be here in the summer. So the holidays don't really fall in the summer. So why do you need that much more space? Hi there, come on in. I want to start with the foyer and the entrance because this was our first puzzle to have to solve. This amazing brick floor was original to the house. It was carpet when it was first built. We wanted to use the original brick floor, so we were able to do an engineered wood floor with a very slight threshold. This fluted wall, this is original, even though it is super trendy right now. This is original. But there were these tiny, skinny little windows that were like 3 windows in a row. They looked like they were made here on site. So all those got replaced with solid glass. It was just not cost effective to try and replace those windows. Plus, it just didn't make sense for the design. Follow me in here. This room is the coolest room in the house. So asymmetrical, and it posed huge challenges for design and furniture layout. But it gave us this opportunity to kind of do a mid-century modern salon type of vibe where you have 2 rooms that are open to each other like in a Victorian, but it's not a Victorian and there's no cased opening. This fireplace is so cool. So as you can see, it is off center, and then it has a little hallway on the side that probably nobody has ever used in the history of this house being built. And obviously we were not gonna touch this. It's gorgeous. Even the brass trim detail is original. We did have to replace the brick that was here that matched the foyer. So we replaced it with a natural unglazed liege tile that we actually cut in half. So these are 2x6s that we cut into this size in order to get them to fit perfectly. It's completely custom looking, it's awesome, and the color is perfect for what the house palette is. In here, We have Philip Jeffries wallpaper on all the walls. It's a grass cloth that's beautiful and perfectly like suited to the home. We did not want to go with a Mad Men style vibe. We wanted this to feel very welcoming and comfortable, but the furniture all had to be small scale. I mean, it really did. So we had to really search for pieces that would work in here. This piece here is vintage. It's from Evan Reed. These are both Thayer Coggan pieces because they're very small scale. And the era of those pieces is also appropriate to the era of the home. You're not looking at a 44-inch deep restoration hardware sofa in here. It would never work. I am a huge fan of game tables and low lounge height game tables. It's something I've been obsessed with since I was like 25. So we found this beautiful travertine table and chairs separately. They did not come together. I had an idea in my mind for the chairs and we were able to find something that was perfect. The rugs are both 1960s era Ushak. They are both from Jubin Rugs, one of my favorite suppliers that I met at High Point, but they're based in Atlanta. I own a rug from them in my own living room, same era. I always go to them and another one of our one-of-a-kind dealers down there for rugs first and foremost, because I always know I'm gonna find what I need, almost always. High Point Market is so impossible to describe because it's not a trade show. I call it a company town. It is where a lot of the furniture in America is made. North Carolina is known for that. Today I'm at High Point Furniture Market, which everybody thinks is all furniture, but it is so much more than that. We're at Shop Object today. This is a new initiative for them. I think it's their second year or second market. It's gotten even better. There are so many textiles, ceramics, objects, artisans, small makers that you wouldn't find elsewhere unless you just happened on their city or on Instagram. And the amount that our team can get done in 4 days here, it would take us 6 months to source this product elsewhere. As a designer, it was a game changer for our company completely. Like when we started going to High Point, my husband would say this too, it has been a game changer for us because we can plan, we have all our projects, we have a list of things that we need, we have all our measurements, and we literally come down and get to see all of it in one place. There's a soul and an intention and a passion for this stuff that when people made these things 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago, it wasn't so focused on profit, margins, and things like that. It was like they love doing it. You can see that. Things have just been passed down. I mean, look at this. Look at the patina on this table. These are adorable. Oh my God, I love these. These are so cute. I love baked enamel. The two-tone, the three-tone, these are so cute. This looks like a little recipe box. Absolutely anything organically shaped, I'm a huge fan of. There's another company that I bought product like this from, but these are really unique and beautiful. And I love how they show the wood without trying too hard. They're really, really natural, and the shapes are just beautiful. So this room is actually where the sectional is and the television. There's an Eames reading chair as well. So it serves two purposes. You can hang out and read and look at the fireplace, or you can sit on the sofa and look at the TV. But it's not TV focused. Like you barely notice the TV. You don't see it from the street. It's sort of tucked away, which I think is huge. This sofa is awesome. It's actually a new Thayer Coggan. Most people think of Thayer Coggan when they think vintage, but this is actually a new one. And we did it in a gorgeous green velvet. This is one of the first things that we picked. We knew we were gonna do a green sofa. This is truly my favorite room in the house. I have like this thing for 70s glam. It's just the way I was raised. I mean, I think it was like growing up in the disco era a little bit, and I just love it. So I knew what I wanted to do with this room. Immediately, I talked to our lead designer, Bonnie, and I was like, okay, we have to find a smoked glass table, like perfect. The fact that we found one that wasn't round, but it's more of like, what is this, an octagon or something? Incredible. Milo Bauman vintage chairs. The rug is Nordic knots. So we took a rectangular rug and had it cut. We do that a lot. My lead designer thinks I'm nuts. I will cut down wood furniture legs. I will cut down rugs. I will do anything I can to make something work. The sconces are from Artemis. The chandelier is incredible. That's from Incollect. And all the artwork is the client's original artwork that we hung. We worked with a partner that's in Chicago that helps us hang art, and I love doing that for clients. It's one of my favorite things. More Philip Jeffries grass cloth wallpaper in a slightly different tone. It's a little bit ashier. It's beautiful with all of these warm tones. I'm a big believer in mixing cool and warm tones. I think it makes for more timeless design. If everything's one color, if it's all one look. And so mixing warm and cool tones and giving the room a little bit of balance. I'm also not a big matchy person, so I would never try to match the wallpaper to the rug. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't want it to clash, but there's something in between matching and clashing that I think is like my sweet spot that I love. Over here, this is one of my favorite details, is this brass shelf. Again, leaning into the asymmetry. The Hudson Valley Lighting Group sconces here, mixing our brasses. Don't be afraid to mix brasses. You've got a polished brass, you've got an unlacquered brass, another sort of in between, and these are a little bit more satin. As long as you're mixing like 4 or 5 different brasses, it works. Love the mirror, love the asymmetry of this. We did a couple different studies of this with multiple shelves, with something in the middle. So happy the client embraced asymmetry because it made this job so much more fun. One of the things about this kitchen that originally that we changed is, and when we look the other direction, you'll see that we actually moved the door. But right now we kept the brick wall. It was amazing. Right here is where the kitchen stopped before. There was a wall right here, and this is how you got into the kitchen. And it was a U-shaped kitchen, completely 1950s vibe, tiny as can be, 3 feet in between the counters. You could not believe it. So in here, what you're looking at is a Hudson Valley light fixture for over the island, which turned out just perfectly. I mean, we didn't want anything to really obstruct the glass and the views and the foliage from outside. It just felt like a natural thing. I also really love the idea of not doing multiple pendants in a kitchen like this. It just felt like the right call. A honed quartzite countertop, which is natural material, not to be confused with quartz, which is man-made. Really beautiful warm tones again. Layering our whites. So our cabinetry is Athena. It's one of my favorite colors from Benjamin Moore. I use it almost exclusively. Obviously, the natural brass hood is a total showstopper. That's really fun. I love that this client wasn't afraid to mix brass and stainless. Again, mixing metals, mixing types of metals is what makes it interesting. When everything is one finish, it's just really boring. I remember like 10 years ago searching for images where I was trying to find a brass faucet with a stainless sink and I could not find anything. Okay, now we do it all the time and I don't even think about it. In fact, I looked over there, I'm like, oh, I forgot we did that. So it's funny, people agonize over it and then they get over it after they see image after image and they're finally like, okay, I've seen it on Pinterest, I've seen it on Instagram. It's like, okay, you can mix your metals. It's really hard to mix stone. Unless you have a mosaic that has multiple stone types or colors in it, it's hard to mix slabs of stone. They fight each other. It looks like a mistake. So one of the rare exceptions to that is when you mix a quartzite with a Calacatta marble. Calacatta marble is like the reverse of the quartzite, and so they work together, they speak to each other. So the veining in the Calacatta sort of relates to the color tone of the quartzite, and so there's a relationship there. The walnut and the brass and the Calacatta together, it's just like, oh, it's delicious. So Thermador appliances, you can see there's a French door here, a little pantry there. Unlacquered brass faucet from Waterstone, one of my favorite faucet makers. I love tall cabinets, I prefer them. I think they get you more storage and they allow you to have an airier kitchen on the function side so that you don't feel so utilitarian. So over here, you can fit so much more in a 12-inch deep cabinet that's tall, because the area that you're using the most of, that's the most ergonomic, is usually where your backsplash should be. The powder room we actually added to this house. This is my second favorite room in the house besides the dining room. I love this room. More Philip Jeffries wallpaper, grass cloth, more of a pink, mauve again, that kind of color, but it's so sophisticated when used the right way with the right materials. This gorgeous sink is actually from Etsy. My joke was like, okay, if it comes and it's a piece of crap, or it breaks, or it doesn't fit, or whatever it is because it's coming from Turkey, then whatever, I'll keep it. You know what I mean? And we'll figure out an alternative. But we took a chance and went for it. And it is seriously the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Perfect size for the bathroom, gorgeous detailing, this marine edge that you see here, Waterworks unlacquered brass wall mount faucet, Hudson Valley Lighting Group light fixtures throughout, and tile bar mosaic floor tile. That's one of my favorites. So in here, we're walking into the master suite. Originally, this was not how this was set up. The bathroom was much smaller. It was here, and the door to the master suite was like here. In this hallway here, there was a wall, but we added a closet, and we put the door on the bedroom side so that you have this feature wall for art as you walk through. More Philip Jeffries grass cloth wallpaper in a different colorway. Grass cloth is obviously very era appropriate, but it's also all the light in here, and the way that it hits the grass cloth is just, it's to die for. Client's original art, another one of the Visual Comfort art lights, which is so fun. That's a brand new one that we found at High Point a couple years ago. It was one of their new launches. This little room is kind of a trip. It is the perfect size office, and if it didn't have a wall of windows, it would be claustrophobic as hell. And this is one of the coolest details on the house. It's this weird, like, cantilever thing that has walls with openings but no windows and no roof. It's very strange, but it's one of the cooler parts of the house. So we did this built-in area with the desk and shelves and more of the wallpaper, and another rug that we had to cut down to fit the house. So if you have an awkward sized room in your house, you'd be surprised how much you can do with a little room. We kept trying to figure out where to put the husband's office in this house, but this was like perfect and it made sense. This is the guest bath. It's the hall bath. The two guest bedrooms share this bathroom, which is, again, part of the charm of this house. It's very unique and very original to the era. People did not have ensuite bathrooms everywhere. Bedrooms were smaller. That's just part of it, and that's part of the charm. So we went kind of crazy with the bathrooms. We had a lot of fun. The husband is colorblind, and so we were able to do tons of pinks, which the wife absolutely loved, and it was so fun to be able to take some chances this way. So in here we have this beautiful rose Elige pink wall tile that's vertical that we stacked for a much more modern look, but then again, not wanting to go cold, modern, typical mid-century, we wanted it to have patina. It has chipped edges. It's just gorgeous. It works so well. It's so versatile. Unlacquered brass, everything, whether it's the hardware or the Waterworks plumbing fixtures, which are beautiful. This is a new thing for me. I've decided I hate handles on shower doors. I don't know why. They just bug me. And they're just they're too specific. They're very utilitarian. I'm just bored with them. So we started doing these knobs, and it makes me so happy. So it just feels very vintage. It's kind of fun. This awesome terrazzo floor is another thing that we brought to the table for this project. It's a large format terrazzo, so it's really unique. They're tiles, so it's not a full terrazzo where it's poured. And then we ran it up the wall with a Carrera bullnose tile to separate, as well as to cap the top of the Zalige. Because one of the problems with the Zalige is that you can't finish, you have to finish the edges, and the trim pieces can be pretty expensive. So this part of the house is super cool. We actually investigated putting a third floor on. So it's a split level, like I said, so you sort of have a half staircase, up and a half staircase down. So the easiest thing in the world would have been to add a landing and just go straight up to the flat roof right here. So we designed it, we space planned it, and then we priced it out, and the clients decided that they didn't need it. And so I think that was a great decision, because they were gonna have a second home for the winter months in Palm Springs, and it just wasn't necessary. And this light fixture from Visual Comfort is stunning. It is such a feature. It's just this super cool sculptural piece that you see from everywhere in the house. So this is the master bedroom. It's beautiful. It's very serene. Again, scale very appropriate to the size of the house. And we did these custom side tables from First Dibs in this gorgeous, gorgeous like mauve color. Beautiful mohair headboard and a lighter camel color, and these fabulous light fixtures that we found an inspiration image and then we're able to actually track down. This color palette is sort of a study in monochromatic, but it's not all one color. So it's very much layering different tones of similar colors. So for example, the rug has a little bit of purple in it, and like 3 different beiges in it. So we're really taking cues from more natural fibers and natural dyes and then applying them to all of the other materials. So for example, the pillow, the side tables, they pull from the rug, but they don't match the rug. These are way more pink than the rug is more purple. There's a weird tension between some of the colors, for example. So this camel colored headboard is like a much golder version of this kind of tone than say the wallpaper, which goes a little bit more ashy. I love that because it creates depth. And then obviously you have the creams and the beiges and the whites in the bedding and the whites and the paint colors. So it's just, I'd say there's probably like 16 colors in this room if you really were to sit down and analyze it. This is the master bath, and it is so fun. Again, totally amazing client, went for the crazy tile that we selected. It has a brass inlay. This is from Tile Bar, and it has the pinks and the grays and the whites, and the pink marble is just gorgeous because it's got so much variation in it. And again, you'll notice like the Zaveloff tile that we used as the base trim doesn't match perfectly, but that's part of what's interesting about it. So I just tell people, like, don't stress about that. When you layer enough off colors, they all tend to work together. We also have the stacked white Zaveloff on the walls, which has tons of natural variation. And so again, it goes, if this were all porcelain or even a ceramic with a glaze that was really consistent, this bathroom would be kind of sterile. So I love the idea of using something that has way more life to it, and imperfections and patina. And then this teak vanity is one of my favorite companies. I have them in my own house. I spec them so much right now, I should work for them. This is Willow Home. They've got little, I think they have little like soap things. You've got soft closed drawers. It's that reeded finish. But mostly, and I know the reeded thing is again really trendy, but I don't think that this kind of style is going to go out of style where it's an inset. It's an example of like, it's not just modern. So it's an inset cabinet with the reeded detail, and more waterworks, unlacquered brass faucets, and visual comfort lights are actually the hand rubbed antique brass, which works beautifully with the unlacquered brass. I feel so calm. Like if I went to a spa, I would be so happy if it looked like this. Like I don't like cold, sterile places, and I don't like mail it in design where everything's one color, but this is a lot of neutrals and it's very, very serene, but it feels very cozy. And I could imagine this in the middle of the woods somewhere. I could imagine this in Palm Springs. I could imagine this kind of house anywhere. And it feels like that's what I'd want it to feel like the common spaces at like a little boutique spa type of place. I hope other people feel that way when they're here.